blowing up inside a FedEx facility overnight, the FedEx Center in Schertz, Texas. That's about an hour outside of Austin, where they have seen 4 explosions this month alone. The ATF confirming to Fox News that there are no injuries.
That's right. That is a little different. There was one local report, I believe from the Associated Press, they passed on, that apparently a woman who was working inside near the conveyor belt there at the FedEx facility in Schertz, Texas, had suffered some sort of percussion injury. But as it turns out, that was an erroneous report.
And man, how dangerous is this? Shrapnel and nails on the inside. One person was thought to have a concussion, but they didn't need to be treated. And keep in mind, they were already pouring all over this region. 500 plus officers, 236 interviews. That was prior to the 5th bombing.
Yeah, let's bring in Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's the press secretary at the White House. Sarah, have you talked to the president about this? Because this latest one, it happened at 12:25 a.m., so within the last few hours. Have you had a chance to talk to him about it this morning?
I haven't spoken to him directly, but I have talked to our team here at the White House this morning since this has taken place, and we are monitoring and reviewing. I know the president has been made aware. I haven't spoken with him directly, but I know he's aware of the situation, and we're continuing to work with local authorities on the ground to do everything we can to help supplement their efforts and make sure that we're doing what we can to help protect the people in these communities and that we can apprehend the individuals that are behind these terrible acts.
Sarah, can you rule out an international component to this? I mean, could this be an Al-Qaeda, ISIS inspired, or directly, could they be the perpetrators?
Look, we're still in the investigation process here. I'm not going to get ahead of that right now, but I can tell you that the federal authorities are working very closely with local authorities and have offered full cooperation and support in order to help in these efforts to make sure we're doing whatever is necessary and whatever is possible in order to stop these from happening and in order to apprehend the people that are behind these heinous acts.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk a little bit about a road trip the President of the United States made. He went up to the hard-hit Manchester, New Hampshire. Hard hit because New Hampshire just behind West Virginia and Ohio in the number of overdose deaths due to opioids. He made it very clear yesterday, the president did, Sarah, that if you want to stop drugs, you got to build the wall. And some have suggested, maybe with this big funding bill coming up in a couple of weeks, maybe they'll finally be able to have the Democrats, the Republicans get together. He will get the wall and the Democrats will get DACA. How close are we to something like that?
Look, Republicans are there. The president is there. He has made multiple offers trying to get Democrats to actually do their jobs. I think what we're seeing is that the Democrats would much rather use DACA recipients as pawns instead of actually putting real solutions forward and making things happen. They've had a number of opportunities, none of which at this point they've chosen to take. The president has made at least 2 very generous offers to extend the DACA deal in exchange for border security and border wall funding. That was the most recent offer made to Democrats, and they continue to not want to help these people. It is beyond me how they go out on TV and cheer and champion, saying that they want to do what they can to help DACA recipients, but the 2 opportunities they've had, they haven't taken them, and they've continued to ignore the real problem at hand and actually address it with real solutions.
Well, Senator Mike Rounds' bill had 54 votes. The president didn't back it because it didn't have the lottery or chain migration in it. Might the president bring that up, look for more, try to get more, and to get the best deal possible? Or is he going to lay out and say it's 4 or nothing?
Well, look, it's possible, though. The deal that was offered earlier this week included a 3-year extension for DACA in exchange for the border wall and border security funding, the full amount that he's asking for to do that. And that was a deal that Democrats continued to reject. So we're hoping that at some point they decide to actually get serious and help us solve this problem that we're very anxious to solve.
Sarah, I think the president would agree this is a major win for this town in Southern California. It's called Los Alamitos. It's a town that said they do not want to be part of the sanctuary state. Shelley Hasselbrink is a city council member there. She also was the former mayor. Steve had a chance to sit down with her or talk to her on the show earlier. Listen to her soundbite and then we'll get your reaction.
We need to not support illegal anything in our city, and this was the only recourse that we had. I have a feeling that this is going to be a snowball effect in other cities because this wasn't given to the voters to vote on about whether to become a sanctuary state or not. The cities are now being able to speak up on behalf of the voters, and I think you're going to see more and more action in individual cities like this, just because we need to get our voices heard, and we found that this is probably the only way to do this.
Your reaction, Sarah?
Look, we couldn't agree more that sanctuary cities are a dangerous thing. The president has been very outspoken about this, as has the attorney general. When cities start picking and choosing laws that they want to follow, that is a dangerous thing, and it's certainly outside of the jurisdiction of the way that our government was set up. It is outrageous to think that certain cities and even states now are putting law enforcement officials at risk and in danger because they're refusing to follow the law. It is beyond me how any city can just decide that there are laws they don't want to follow. If conservatives did this during the Obama administration, people would have gone absolutely crazy. Yet they are celebrated in the Democrat Party for not following the law. I think it sets a terrible standard. I think it's a really dangerous thing to teach young people and kids that if you don't like something, you can just ignore it and do whatever you want.
Most Americans don't want sanctuary states or sanctuary cities. Any polling reveals that, and we'll see what Attorney General Sessions can do about it. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Let's hand it to Jillian. She has a breaking news story to tell us about.
That's right. Breaking news that we're just learning the details right now. So let's get right to that Fox News alert. Police responding to a shooting at a high school in Maryland. The incident at Great Mills High School in St. Mary's County, Maryland, 2 hours south of Baltimore. The school posting a statement saying, quote, "There has been a shooting at Great Mills High School. The school is on lockdown. The event is contained. The sheriff's office is on the scene." We will have more information on this breaking story as it becomes available. So stick with Fox News. Cutting-edge technology now cut off. Uber suspending all testing of self-driving cars after a deadly crash in Arizona. Police say 49-year-old Elaine Herzberg was walking her bicycle across the street outside of the crosswalk when the Uber hit her.
Investigation did not show at this time that there were significant signs of the vehicle slowing down, but our investigation is going to reveal more once it's complete.
The Uber had a backup driver inside, but the SUV was in self-driving mode. It's believed to be the first death involving a fully autonomous vehicle. A showdown between free speech and abortion access in the Supreme Court today. Justices will begin hearing a challenge to a California law requiring pro-life pregnancy centers to post notices on how to obtain a state-funded procedure. Earlier, Judge Andrew Napolitano said this shouldn't even be a debate.
The First Amendment guarantees the right to silence. The government can't force you to express a political opinion with which you disagree.
Attorneys for the state argue it's a neutral regulation aimed at informing women of their options. That's a look at your headlines. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jillian.
All right, stick with us. We are going